Alright, going to bed after this one, but I wanted to comment on it just because it's another one of those stories that kind of has gotten completely buried, which I feel like would be a much bigger deal if, this had happened in 2015, or really at any point during the last administration. A UH-1N Huey flying out of Andrews Air Force Base, flying at about 1,000 feet, which is a little under a quarter mile up in the air, was shot at. And not only was it shot at, it was hit, and it injured one of the, basically, pilot, co-pilot. They said it was a training mission, so it probably was just a routine thing. I've seen mixed. So the U.S. Air Force, they use. I've seen a couple different paint patterns from them. One, it's this kind of green camo that was used for as a rescue helicopter. The other is an official duties one, which I'm going to kind of turn this camera and see if I can show you kind of what that looks like. Yeah. So, sorry if I'm not lined up properly. What that one is it's basically, from what I'm seeing, that's the one that they use down in the pattern they use down in Andrews, and that's very that it looks like Marine One. It makes it look like it's a presidential motorcade, or not motorcade, like a flight group. I imagine they probably fly around senators and VIPs and whatnot. They're saying it got shot at over Virginia, but that's very vague. They haven't been clear about where the shots came from. And just the reason I bring it up is because, a quarter mile isn't that far, but it's very far for small arms to be moving fast enough to, one, hit the helicopter, to two, penetrate and actually injure the pilot. I mean, the UH-1N, it's not an armored helicopter or anything like that. It's not like an Apache, but the idea of getting a shot off from the ground with, like a rifle and hitting and injuring a pilot, that's, either you're unbelievably lucky, or you were using a very high powered weapon and leading and this was something intentional. Now, granted, apparently they were in like a whatever the helicopter equivalent of a motorcade is. So maybe they were just generally being shot at, and somebody kind of led them, and then this guy just happened to be the helicopter that flew in the way. I suspect somebody would pick up the kind of, essentially, somebody shooting small arms at a helicopter. Because the only chance you really have of hitting a helicopter with small arms is basically during takeoff, landing, and hover. Unless I'm saying with a conventional small arm. Now, if you got an automatic or something, like a machine gun mounted, yeah, you can always shoot at helicopters if you got tracers and whatnot. But I mean, like, in terms of like general, like what's available to the general public, like nobody's sitting there with a anti-material rifle with or machine gun trying to cut down helicopters that are passing. It's very strange, but it's a weird story. I'm gonna keep following it. FBI's investigating, Air Force is investigating. We're probably not going to hear anything about it. Yeah, I'm trying to find it there. I mean, if there's anything. Now, it's possible it was one of the camo. I don't know. Here's the USAF rescue choppers. They're going to be replacing them, so I think that's why they... Yeah, that looks like the ones at Andrews. It's like this blue with this line. It kind of looks like Marine One. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's them. They got pictures of them. Very strange. Very, very, very strange. So. Oh! Well, that's kind of funny. I saw one of these today, MH-139. I saw that fly over, and I was wondering what the deal is. That's apparently going to be the replacement the Air Force is going to use for the UH-1N. That's a pretty... It's a pretty cool looking helicopter. Whatever. I saw one of those today when I was down near Boeing and Bell helicopter have like a facility, and there's like a Lockheed facility somewhere around here in the Philadelphia area. Sometimes you see some crazy stuff. Remember the Bell? I think the V-280 Valor. They had that here, and that thing, it's all classified stuff. But like it's like a little tiny Osprey, and my dad was like telling me, like describing this thing, like what is this? And I was like, oh well, it's a V-12. V-280 Valor tilt rotor, and it's just, I don't know. I see we're lucky we get to see cool stuff sometimes because there's the helicopter plants. But all right, no, that's just kind of funny. As I'm scrolling through, looking at the UH-1N, trying to get a little more details about this incident, I see the MH-139s replacing it. So that's interesting. Yeah, really weird. Really weird. Somebody shooting at helicopters in Virginia. Ain't right wingers, I'll tell you that much. I'm not shooting at Air Force helicopters. If it was like a state helicopter, state police, then you could be like, maybe it's some right wing nut job out in the sticks. But in this case, it's like U.S. Air Force with, official Washington markings looking on it. Like, that's not something the right's going to be shooting at. So I guess we'll find out soon enough. What's this picture of? Oh, underground machine gun. I don't know. I don't know too much about the N. I know about it's like Navy and Marine Corps service, but the Air Force has been using them for whatever. I think they just use them as medevac and rescue. So that's all. It was just another weird story that nobody's talking about, which you think would be huge news, but whatever.